Right now at 5, pull out your mixing bowls and other cooking tools as Thanksgiving is almost here. Our very own Yana Tula takes us to Fire Station number 1 in Pittsburgh, where we teach you how not to do this, but to fry a turkey safely.
And it's going to be another cold one across the 4 states, particularly cold today, but there's a warm up on the way. We're going to talk about all that coming up.
And thanks to a third grader's swift actions, a fellow student's life is saved. Our very own Carrie Worthen takes us to Wyandotte to learn more about this heroic boy.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. So it's cold this morning. I had to scrape a little frost off my car. Not really fun to do. I got to adjust this thing later. It's not in the right spot. But it's not a lot of fun to do, you know, out there. That's what I've said before. I went on Facebook and there's some people there, you agree or disagree, but the one advantage to it being really hot is you don't have to go out early in the morning and scrape the heat off your car. You don't have to pre-cool your vehicle. There's not all these things you have to do. You don't have to kick the heat off of your boots going into the house.
Kick the heat off your boots.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. While the heat sucks, there are advantages to it over the cold because you don't got to kick it off of your boots when you go in the house. You don't have to scrape it off of your car. There's a lot of things you don't have to do with the heat. It may be miserable, but it doesn't make you as miserable.
Well, and one warning that we're going to be talking about later this morning during our live shout out at the fire station is like a lot of people when it's cold think that, oh, because it's cold, I'm going to fry my turkey inside. I'm going to set up my fryer in the garage. We're going to tell you why. We're going to show you why this morning. That's not a good idea.
It's not a good idea, and as Tony mentioned, we're going to let you know why. It's also not a good idea to go outside without any coats or anything because it is chilly. It doesn't look that way until we pop up these temperatures. 25 in Joplin, feels like 17 right now. Temperatures across the region are on the chilly side as well. 30 in Chanute, 24 Parsons, 27 Miami, 25 Neosho, and 30 in Monette. Live look at the MoDOT camera at I-44 and Range Line. Back up and running. Got a green light for your morning drive. We're mostly cloudy and cold, and a green light for the drive home as we're mostly clear and still cold. The kids getting on the bus this morning, it's definitely going to be a cold one. 29 degrees, mostly cloudy. Could be a little bit breezy a little later today, though. 35 and partly cloudy skies by 3 o'clock. It's not going to get much warmer than that, though. Our high of only 36 today. We'll start to cool down pretty quickly. That should not be a sunshine at 8 o'clock. I think you understand it's nighttime by 8. And as we head into tonight, it's 23 degrees, and we'll start to see clouds increase by tomorrow morning, so another cold evening on tap. But as I mentioned, there's a bit of a warm-up on the way, and we are going to discuss that warm-up here in just a couple minutes.
All right. I'm looking forward to a warm-up.
Me too.
I'm figuring out how you like to kick that heat off your boots. All right. Thanks, Chris. Police say the driver of a commercial tow truck died yesterday when the truck rolled over along I-44 near Joplin's Range Line exit. No other vehicle was involved and no one else was hurt. Police plan to release more details today. A man who shot his girlfriend in Miami, Oklahoma, then led police on a chase is going to prison. A judge sentenced Austin Tanner to 40 years in prison for shooting with intent to kill. However, all but 15 years of that sentence is suspended. He also gets 5 years for eluding police. Authorities say in August of 2020, police investigated a domestic argument at a home on J Street, Northwest in Miami. Police left without making an arrest. Later that afternoon, they say Tanner shot his girlfriend at the home. After a chase and crash, authorities arrested Tanner south of Fairland, Oklahoma. The girlfriend had multiple gunshot wounds, but survived. Law enforcement in Bates County, Missouri yesterday morning seized narcotics, cash, and guns during a drug bust. The Bates County Sheriff Emergency Response Team served a search warrant in Butler, Missouri. Authorities say the extensive drug investigation targeted a convicted felon. Officers took 4 people into custody and seized heroin, mushrooms, and field-tested fentanyl. Well, if you're planning to travel over the Thanksgiving weekend, be ready for the roads to be busy. AAA expects nearly 55 million people to travel at least 50 miles or more that weekend. That puts it on track to be the 3rd busiest year for Thanksgiving travel, though it's not quite at pre-pandemic levels. A representative with the Missouri Travel Center expects to see plenty of travelers in Southwest Missouri.
It's been kind of gradually getting back to normal, and I feel like we are back to normal. I mean, even right now, like at this time of day, it's like very heavy out there. A lot of packs are traveling in try not to travel in packs. Like, get away from the packs and you'll stay out of wrecks.
Semi-drivers are also good to hear advice from. AAA also reports a rise in alternative modes of transportation such as trains and cruise ships. Well, Thanksgiving is almost here and people will start preparing their turkeys to be cooked. KOAM's Yana Tula joins us live to talk about the safety that you need to follow while cooking.
Good morning, Tanya, and thank you. We're live here in Pittsburgh at Fire Station 1. It is always good to keep safety tips in your mind when deep frying turkeys. The house fire in Massachusetts was caused by someone deep frying their turkey in 2020. A simple mistake of cooking a frozen turkey can be a dangerous start for Thanksgiving. Thawing your turkey days ahead is crucial to prevent an explosion happening.
If you're using a turkey fryer, make sure you use that fryer outside of the home. That means not in your garage, not on the porch. Also, make sure you start with a thoroughly thawed turkey and never overfill or overheat the oil in that turkey fryer.
Fleming also said that an average of 1,700 cooking fires happen on Thanksgiving, which is 3 times more than any other day during the year. Live in Pittsburgh, I'm Yana Haudala with KOAM News.
Well, thank you, Yana. Can you tell us a little bit about what you guys have planned, that you're planning to do out there in front of Fire Station number 1?
Yes, later in about an hour, we will have Chef Anthony from Pittsburgh High School prepare a turkey. He will show how to prepare it the right way and not the wrong way. We will also see how to do it the wrong way in about hour and a half or 2 hours. So please be here, be watching us.
Yeah, because it's going to be pretty exciting when we cook that bad turkey. All right, thank you so much, Yana. Well, local third grader's quick action saved his classmates' life. Camden Shelton started to choke on grapes at lunchtime when his classmate Tyler Lawrence took action and ran around the table to try and help. They were both brought up in front of the elementary, and Tyler was recognized for his heroic actions by local police.
So he was choking on grapes and he put 3 in his mouth and he choked on one of them. And I thought he was faking it until his face turned purple. And then I went over to the side and hit his back really hard.
Good idea there. Well, you can watch the full video of Tyler's recognition on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Flu season opens the 1st of October and ends in March. And as of Tuesday, Newton County has 28 confirmed cases of the flu. According to the CDC, the state of Missouri is considered to be a moderate level for flu activity. Kansas and Oklahoma are both considered moderate levels for flu activity, and Arkansas is considered high for flu activity. Coming up in our 6 o'clock hour, our very own Jalen Banks sits down with health officials to learn more about this upcoming flu season.
A quick check of sunrise and sunset today. 6:58 for the sunrise and 5:07 is when the sun will set. Take a look at the 7-day forecast. May see a wintry mix mainly in northeast Oklahoma or along and south of I-44 tomorrow. Otherwise 45. Very cold Friday, only 32. Maybe some flurries hanging on out there, just some stray ones. And we start to warm up through the weekend. And by next week, look at Tuesday as we get close to 60 degrees.
All right.
So just a few more days.
A few more. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, the MIAA releases its list of all MIAA awards for the football season. We'll have who won locally.
Plus, Thanksgiving is almost here and prices are projected to be higher this year thanks to inflation.
And we'll have why 1 billion young adults are at risk for hearing loss. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back.
The MIAA has released its all MIAA football awards for this fall. For Pittsburgh State, head coach Brian Wright is the league's coach of the year after leading the Gorillas to their first conference championship since 2014. Wide receiver and kick returner Colby Katzis is the league's freshman of the year. On the all MIAA first team, we have some local guys highlighting the group. Galena product PJ Sarwinski is a first-team All-MIAA selection. He led Pitt State in tackles this season with 74, also added 10 tackles for loss and 3 sacks. Pitt State safety and former Frontenac Raider Brandon Malikas is a first-time All-MIAA pick. Malikas racked up 59 tackles this fall with 2.5 tackles for loss and 2 fumble recoveries. And at wide receiver, former Neosho High School standout Bryce Murphy is on the All-MIAA first team. Murphy only played in 5 games this fall, but he was great in those 5, collecting 406 receiving yards and 5 touchdowns. Gorillas had 8 guys on the All-MIAA first team. In addition to those guys that we just named, tight end Devon Garrison is a first-team selection. Running back Caleb Lewis, offensive lineman Trace Jeffries, and Corey Woodruff are on there. Then on the defensive side, Ubim Okanowo is also a first-teamer. In all, Pitt State had 18 players earn All-MIAA recognition yesterday. You can check out the full list on the sports page at KOAMnewsnow.com. Also a big day for the Missouri Southern Lions. Southern had 13 players earn All-MIAA honors. Kicker Nate Williams was the team's lone first-team selection. Williams was 12 for 17 on field goals this fall, including this 52-yarder against Pittsburgh State. This is the longest field goal in the MIAA this season. Local guys also representing for the Lions on the All-MIAA list. Former Joplin Eagle Nathan Glades is a second-team All-Conference pick. And on the defensive side, Carthage product Colton Winder, former East Newton standout Coleman Booker, and former Joplin Eagle Sullivan Garcia all earned honorable mention All-MIAA recognition. You can check out all 13 All-Conference picks for Southern at KOAMnewsnow.com. Missouri Southern women's basketball team is once again off to a hot start this season. Lions are 4-0 and have moved up. Southern will play their home opener on Thursday at noon, hosting Angelo State. Angelo State is 2-0 in their first 2 games. Lions have already beaten some really good teams, and they're playing a pretty tough non-conference schedule. But head coach Ronnie Ressel says that's exactly what they were after to prepare for the MIAA schedule.
The year we had last year, we knew we had a chance to be pretty good again, and I wanted to make sure we challenged ourselves so it would prepare us for conference play because our league is so tough. There's 7, 8 teams I think that could win our league if they get on a good run. Those are big wins when I think will come March and region rankings and everything else and strength of schedule as well. So they were huge, especially we did it all the way from home. All those were on the road. Kind of technically, I mean, Harding was a really true road win, but the rest of them all neutral sites. So, but it was exciting. It was fun. I just loved how our kids competed, especially on the defensive end.
Still to come, the world population hit 8 billion people yesterday. We'll have the details, and we've got another look at your forecast. KOAM Morning News returns. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. Time for a little weather trivia for you this morning. And our question today, Silver Lake, Colorado got an incredible amount of snow dumped on it in a 24-hour period in April of 1921. How much snow fell? Was it 121.4 inches, 66.1 inches, 32.7 inches, or 75.8 inches? Well, you think about that. Let's talk about our forecast. And it's going to be cold. It's going to stay that way. It's cold right now, 25 degrees, clear skies. Feels like 17 out there this morning. Temperatures across the region not very warm. 24 Parsons, 27 Independence, Chautauqua, and Miami, 29 Carthage, and 30 in Monette. Live look at the MoDOT camera at I-44 and Range Line, looking west. No, east. It was looking west. Now it's looking east for real this time. Believe me, I checked. It's looking east. Green light for your morning drive, mostly cloudy skies and cold, and a green light for your drive home, mostly clear skies and, you guessed it, cold. We're not warming up a lot today. Kids getting on the bus definitely need that coat. 29 degrees, northwest wind will be light, mostly cloudy, and when they get home, we're looking at partly cloudy skies, 35 by 3 o'clock, and our northwest wind starts to pick up just a bit. We could see some gusts upwards of 25. We're heading for a high today of 36 degrees. Clouds will eventually clear out through the afternoon hours, and we'll have a mostly clear evening before clouds return tomorrow morning, so we drop back down to a very chilly 23 degrees. Now for the answer to our question. Silver Lake, Colorado. How much snow did they get in a 24-hour period? Well, if you picked D, 75.8 inches, you would be correct. It happened on April 14th and 15th of 1921, so it's equivalent to 6.3 feet of snow in just 24 hours. All right, quick look at the 7-day forecast. Maybe a wintry mix along and south of I-44 in some locations. It's a pretty low chance, but it's there. 45. Off and on flurries possible Friday. No accumulation. It's just going to be cold enough with some moisture. We may see some flurries. We start warming up by next week as we return to the 50s and to near 60 by Tuesday. Well, with grocery prices up sharply from a year ago, Thanksgiving is hitting households a lot harder this year. KOAM's Shagun Bomdale found groups that feed the community are dealing with those high prices too.
According to the latest inflation data, turkey is forecasted to cost 23% more this year over 2021 because of both inflation and the avian flu, which has reduced supply.
The prices have gone up, and so we had to make sure that we kind of had to think about how many are we going to have coming in for our Thanksgiving meal. Numbers are rising for the need in the area, and we've been seeing that not just through our food line, but we've been seeing it through our holiday season.
I apologize for those technical difficulties there. Well, of course, with some stores such as Walmart and Aldi, and they've rolled back prices on Thanksgiving staples specifically because of inflation, and it makes it tough for those organizations trying to help those with their Thanksgiving dinners this year. That does bring us our question to you. Who do you plan to spend Thanksgiving with? Is it going to be with family, with friends and family? Are you going to spend it alone, or maybe you just don't celebrate whatsoever? Well, we want to hear from you. You can vote, KOAMnewsnow.com/vote. Do so in the app and take part in discussion on our Facebook page. And we'll be back with Health Watch right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning, more than 1 billion young people may be at risk of suffering early hearing loss. And that's according to a new study published Tuesday in the journal BMJ Global Health. Researchers say they analyzed scientific articles about unsafe listening practices published between 2000 and 2021. The articles looked at the impact of loud sound going straight into people's ears when they use headphones or at entertainment venues like concerts, bars, and clubs. The study estimated up to 1.35 billion people worldwide likely engage in unsafe listening practices, and that's just those from 12 to 34 years old. Researchers say being exposed to loud sound can weaken your ear structure and can eventually cause permanent damage. Well, healthy sleep could be important in preventing diabetes. According to a new study, if you sleep in a bedroom exposed to outdoor artificial light at night, you may have increased risk of developing diabetes. The light pollution study involved nearly 100,000 Chinese adults. It found people who lived in areas of China with high light pollution at night were about 28% more likely to develop diabetes than people who lived in the least polluted areas. The authors said ultimately, more than 9 million cases of diabetes in Chinese adults may be due to outdoor light pollution at night. Some ways to reduce light in your room at night include positioning your bed away from windows and using light-blocking window shades or curtains. If all else fails, try wearing a sleep mask. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
Well, it is a bit on the cold side out there. All of us below freezing as we start the day. However, there's good news. There is warmer weather on the way. We're going to take a look at your full forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns.
Topping Health Watch this morning, more than 1 billion young people may be at risk of suffering early hearing loss. And that's according to a new study published Tuesday in the journal BMJ Global Health. Researchers say they analyzed scientific articles about unsafe listening practices published between 2000 and 2021. The articles looked at the impact of loud sound going straight into people's ears when they use headphones or at entertainment venues like concerts, bars, and clubs. The study estimated up to 1.35 billion people worldwide likely engage in unsafe listening practices, and that's just those from 12 to 34 years old. Researchers say being exposed to loud sound can weaken your ear structure and can eventually cause permanent damage. Well, healthy sleep could be important in preventing diabetes. According to a new study, if you sleep in a bedroom exposed to outdoor artificial light at night, you may have increased risk of developing diabetes. The light pollution study involved nearly 100,000 Chinese adults. It found people who lived in areas of China with high light pollution at night were about 28% more likely to develop diabetes than people who lived in the least polluted areas. The authors said ultimately, more than 9 million cases of diabetes in Chinese adults may be due to outdoor light pollution at night. Some ways to reduce light in your room at night include positioning your bed away from windows and using light-blocking window shades or curtains. If all else fails, try wearing a sleep mask. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
Well, it is a bit on the cold side out there. All of us below freezing as we start the day. However, there's good news. There is warmer weather on the way. We're going to take a look at your full forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns.
Good morning, I'm Tanya Bach with your KOAM News Update. If you're planning to travel over the Thanksgiving weekend, be ready for the roads to be busy. AAA expects nearly 55 million people to travel at least 50 miles or more that weekend. That puts it on track to be the third busiest year for Thanksgiving travel, though it's not quite at pre-pandemic levels. A representative with the Missouri Travel Center expects to see plenty of travelers in Southwest Missouri. Law enforcement in Bates County, Missouri yesterday morning seized narcotics, cash, and guns during a drug bust. The Bates County Sheriff Emergency Response Team served a search warrant in Butler, Missouri. Authorities say the extensive drug investigation targeted a convicted felon. Officers took 4 people into custody and seized heroin, mushrooms, and field-tested fentanyl.
We've got another cold day ahead of us today, only reaching a high of about 36 degrees, so a few degrees cooler than yesterday. We'll have some clouds clearing out, have some mostly clear skies, though, a little later on. As we head through tonight, it'll be mostly clear early, and then clouds start building back in tomorrow morning as we level out at about 23. However, warmer weather on the horizon, maybe a wintry mix south of I-44 tomorrow, some stray flurries Friday, and then after we get through that, temperatures getting back into the 50s to near 60 by next week, back to normal.
Cases, and protective clothing for you and your gear. And when winter comes knocking, we have the perfect size Generac generator to keep you warm and dry. Plus, we offer all parts and service for everything we sell. Schultz Lawn and Garden.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Right now at 5:30, pull out your mixing bowls and other cooking tools as Thanksgiving is almost here. Our very own Yana Tula takes us to Fire Station number 1 in Pittsburgh, where you learn how to not do this, but safely fry a turkey.
And it may not necessarily look cold if you look outside, but it is chilly. We got another cold one here in the 4 states, but warmer weather is on the way. Talk about all that coming up.
And thanks to a 3rd grader's swift actions, a fellow student's life is saved. Our very own Carrie Worthen takes us to Wyandotte to learn more about this heroic boy.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's now 5:29. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. So it is another chilly one across the 4 states, a little bit colder than what we were yesterday, unfortunately. But there's some good news. We are going to start to get to normal here in the next few days, which that's great news, honestly, because
what exactly is normal?
Yeah, here in the 4 states, I really do. Normal, honestly, is the roller coaster ride our temperatures have been on for the last few weeks. Yeah. Because up until last Thursday with that cold front, or gosh, was it 2 Thursdays ago? Now I don't remember. But we had that cold front come through, and temperatures before that were way above normal, and then they went to way below normal. We've just been kind of socked in at way below normal. So yeah, what is normal?
Average?
Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. What is normal?
Oh, goodness.
Okay. All right. So normal is not this. 25 degrees in Joplin, feeling like 17. This is why I do not sing. Temperatures across the area are quite cold as well. 30 degrees in Yates Center, Chanute, Neodesha, 24 Parsons, 25 Neosho, 30 in Monette. Live look at the MoDOT camera at I-44 and Rangeline. Looks good. Green light for your morning drive. Mostly cloudy skies and cold. Green light for the drive home. Mostly clear skies and cold. So kids getting on the bus this morning definitely need the coat going to and from school. 29 at 7 a.m. and only 35 by the time they get home. Could see some wind gusts upwards of 25 miles an hour. Heading today for a high of 36 degrees. So quite chilly out there as skies clear out, and then we'll have clouds returning early tomorrow morning, but otherwise clear through the overnight. 23 for the overnight low tonight. And the good news is you can see we level out, so that helps a little bit, but we level out at a very chilly temperature at 23. But as I mentioned, it's going to warm up. We're going to get back to what normal is supposed to be. And to give you an idea as to what normal is supposed to be, our high today is slightly below what our normal low for this time of the year is.
Yeah, that's really low.
So it's 20 some odd degrees below where we should be this time of year. But we'll take a look at normal temperatures in the 7-day here in a couple of minutes.
All right, sounds like a plan. All right, thanks, Chris. Well, police say the driver of a commercial tow truck died yesterday when the truck rolled over along I-44 near Joplin's Rangeline exit. No other vehicle was involved and no one else was hurt. Police plan to release more details today. And a man who shot his girlfriend in Miami, Oklahoma, then led police on a chase is going to prison. A judge sentenced Austin Tanner to 40 years in prison for shooting with intent to kill. However, all but 15 years of that sentence is suspended. He also gets 5 years for eluding police. Authorities say in August of 2020, police investigated a domestic argument at a home on J Street Northwest in Miami. Police left without making an arrest. Later that afternoon, they say Tanner shot his girlfriend at the home. After a chase and crash, authorities arrested Tanner south of Fairland, Oklahoma. The girlfriend had multiple gunshot wounds, but survived. Well, if you're planning to travel over the Thanksgiving weekend, be ready for the roads to be busy. AAA expects nearly 55 million people to travel at least 50 miles or more that weekend. And that puts it on track to be the third busiest year for Thanksgiving travel, though it's not quite at pre-pandemic levels. A representative with the Missouri Travel Center expects to see plenty of travelers in Southwest Missouri.
It's been kind of gradually getting back to normal, and I feel like we are back to normal. I mean, even right now, like at this time of day, it's like very heavy out there. A lot of packs are traveling, and try not to travel in packs. Like, get away from the packs and you'll stay out of wrecks.
AAA also reports a rise in alternative modes of transportation such as trains and cruise ships. Well, Thanksgiving is almost here and people will start preparing their turkeys to be cooked. Now, KOAM's Yana Tula joins us live to talk about what you need to know about safety while cooking, especially frying. Good morning, Yana.
Good morning, Tanya, and thank you very much. We're live here in Pittsburgh at the Fire Station 1. So it's always very good to keep all the safety tips in your mind when you are deep frying your turkey. This house fire in Massachusetts was caused by someone deep frying their turkey in 2020. A simple mistake of cooking a frozen turkey can be a dangerous start for Thanksgiving. Thawing your turkey days ahead is crucial to prevent an explosion happening. It is also important to remember never douse stove fire lanes with water and to keep children away from the stove.
Because kids can reach up and get a handle, pull something hot down on themselves. So again, make sure you're supervising your kids around any kind of cooking that's going on during the holiday season.
Fleming says that an average of 1,700 cooking fires happen on Thanksgiving, which is 3 times more than any other day during the year. Live in Pittsburgh, I'm Yana Haudala with KOAM News.
And Yana, is it a good idea to cook indoors or outdoors? Like, say it's really cold out. Would it be okay to set up in your garage with your fryer?
Do not do it in your garage. That's what I've been told. And we are going to have a demonstration later today. So stay with us. Keep watching our channel. We will have a demonstration how to safely prepare a turkey and then also have the bad example, what not to do, even if you're outside, how to prepare your turkey for that cooking.
All right, well, that is some good advice, and we have a lot more advice to offer here coming up a little bit later. As I understand, Chef Anthony Fisher is going to be joining us today with you, Yana, and I'm excited about that as well.
Oh yes, I'm excited too.
All right, thank you so much. Well, local third grader's quick actions saved his classmate's life. KOAM's Kerry Worthen has his story.
And they want to shake your hand because you're a hero. You are. So step right over there.
I went, oh God, what was that?
Thanks to Tyler Lawrence's quick thinking, Camden Shelton's life was saved.
So he was choking on grapes and he put 3 in his mouth and he choked on one of them. And I thought he was faking it until his face turned purple. And then I went over to the side and hit his back really hard. I was eating so many grapes that I didn't know I had a whole grape in my mouth, and I started swallowing and it went into my throat.
Assistant Principal Jennifer Terry says she is proud of the students at Wyandotte Elementary.
I think it's really great and exciting that we have such awesome kids here. I am super excited that they step up in a time of need and they don't even think twice about it.
We're friends now, so.
Tyler Lawrence was recognized in front of the school, and local police recognized him as a hero.
If you think they're bad or something, you can't tell that because you don't know if you don't spend time with them or something like that, because you don't know how they actually are inside.
So don't forget to always be kind even when no one is looking. In Wyandotte, Kerry Worthen, KOAM News.
You can watch the full video of Tyler's recognition on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Well, back to talking turkey. The grocery prices are on the rise from a year ago. With them, it will cost more to lay out a family feast for Thanksgiving this year. According to the latest inflation data, turkey is forecast to cost 23% more in the fourth quarter of the year because of both inflation and avian flu, which has reduced supply. The local food shelter representative also says the food line is getting longer.
We want to make sure that the programs and the things that we have offered for the community, we want to keep them going. For that holiday meal, for those that can't have a holiday or a Thanksgiving meal here, first thing on Thanksgiving Day, we want them to be able to have that nice, warm gathering on Thanksgiving Day.
Some stores, such as Walmart and Aldi's, have rolled back prices on Thanksgiving staples specifically because of inflation. Would you like to join me for the talker?
Yeah, that does. It brings us to our question for you. So how are you planning to spend Thanksgiving this year? You know, with family, with friends and family?
There you
Maybe
go.
you're doing it alone, or maybe you just don't celebrate it. So far, either there's a glitch or everyone's still sleeping in, which is all right. It's halfway through the work week.
Oh, that happened the other day.
It did.
Yeah.
It did happen where there was a bit of a glitch. So if you are voting, continue to do so.
You can also comment on our Facebook. You can either comment on the KOAM Facebook or my personal Facebook. My KOAM personal Facebook.
You can do all of those things. All of those things.
Let us know what you're doing for
options
Thanksgiving.
For you. 7-day forecast. In fact, why don't we stretch this out and take a look at Thanksgiving? I mean, it's still early, but this is what Thanksgiving's looking like right now. 55 degrees, maybe some rain showers. Because as you can see, as we get through the weekend, we get through some cold, we're going to warm up and get back to normal. Then we cool back down after Thanksgiving, but it's not too bad. Maybe a wintry mix along and south of I-44 tomorrow. No real accumulations expected. And then Friday, just with some cloud cover and the fact it's so cold, it may spit some flurries at us. And again, no accumulation or anything like that. But otherwise, we warm up for a few days, so it'd be quite nice.
I have to ask, is the turkey waving at us?
No, I don't think he is.
Yeah, well,
No,
here, he popped it up again. It looks like he's taunting us with his tail feathers.
He is.
It's a tail feather taunt.
He's shaking his booty at us. I didn't pick this turkey.
You said it, yeah.
I didn't pick this turkey. This is the turkey that was on here.
Well, he ain't gonna be shaking too much longer.
No, he won't. We're just not far away.
Just stay tuned. In our next hour, we're
gonna show you what's
cooking 2 turkeys.
I'll have to
morning.
take the turkey off the graphic after you see what happens to the turkey coming up.
You don't want to miss it.
We're going to have to replace
stick
it
around.
with the cook.
Yes.
I wonder if there's a cooked turkey in there.
And if you got someone you know that likes to fry turkeys, who has never, or someone who has never fried a turkey and has thought about it,
William Shatner.
Wake them up, make them watch this morning.
William Shatner. State Farm, never mind.
Okay. That's a look at our top news stories. Coming up this half hour in the KOAM Morning News, the Me Too movement sparked a lot of conversation and some change. And it was all thanks to two reporters releasing a story on Harvey Weinstein. Now their story is being adapted onto the big screen.
Plus, a famous dog from Mexico who helped out during 2017 earthquake has sadly passed away. We'll have the latest.
You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back. Topping World Watch, the Mexican Navy announced Tuesday the rescue dog Frida died at the age of 13 due to age-related conditions. The Labrador Retriever was trained in the K-9 unit of the Navy to be part of the search and rescue team in disaster situations. From 2010 to 2017, she participated in various rescue operations, including an earthquake in Haiti, a landslide in Ecuador in 2017, as well as two earthquakes in Mexico, one in Oaxaca and one in Mexico City in 2017. She performed 55 rescues during her service. We thank you, Frida, and we'll miss you. Well, rapid population growth around the world is straining critical resources and adding to the climate crisis. Ted Linder has more from the United Nations officials on the troubles facing the estimated 8 billion people now occupying this planet.
The world just got a little more crowded. United Nations officials projecting the global population has reached the 8 billion mark. But Tuesday's announcement is stoking fears.
We really have two areas of concern: how it affects poor countries that are growing rapidly, and how it affects the entire globe in terms of environmental issues.
The UN citing two main factors behind the population boom.
On one hand, the gradual increase in average human longevity due to the widespread advances in public health, nutrition, personal hygiene, and medicine. And on the other hand, the persistence of high levels of fertility in many countries.
With a majority of the growth seen in developing countries in Africa.
For other countries, it might not be a cause of concern because they have a very good structured government and the population is well taken care of. But in Nigeria, the reverse is the case.
UN officials worry the rapid growth will further decimate supplies of already scarce resources in countries like Nigeria, where people are already struggling.
Some cultures that believe that the more children you have, the stronger you are. It's not exactly really true. People need to be well informed.
Half the world's population lives in 7 countries, including the U.S., Brazil, China, India, Indonesia, Nigeria, and Pakistan. The UN estimates the world's population will reach roughly 8.5 billion by the year 2030 and a staggering 9.7 billion by the year 2050. That's a look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. Here's Chris with another look at your forecast.
Yeah, with temperatures across the region 30 or below. This is almost like going through the express lane at a store. 30 items or less, 30 degrees or less is where we sit right now. We are going to eventually warm up after we get through a few more cold days. We'll take a complete look at your forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. A car overturns and ejects the driver just outside of Racine on Monday afternoon. A 2002 Ford Ranger driven by George Todd of Racine traveled off the left side of the road and struck a bridge. The impact ejected the driver from the vehicle. The crash happened 2 miles south of Racine on Highway CC. Todd was taken to Freeman Hospital in Joplin with serious injuries. Police say the driver of a commercial tow truck died yesterday when the truck rolled over along I-44 near Joplin's Rangeline exit. No other vehicle was involved and no one else was hurt. Police plan to release more details tomorrow. And a SWAT team has surrounded a home in West Joplin. Law officers had been at the home on the 1800 block of Joplin's West 21st Street starting yesterday afternoon. It's in the neighborhood of Cecil Floyd Elementary School. Joplin Assistant Police Chief Brian Lewis tells us a man charged with first-degree domestic assault charges had returned to the home. The incident began about 1 o'clock and officers were still on the scene into the evening. They entered the home and they're searching inside to determine whether the suspect is inside. It's always a good idea to keep safety tips in mind when deep frying a turkey, especially if you want to avoid a house fire like this one in Massachusetts in 2020. A simple mistake of cooking a frozen turkey can be a dangerous start for Thanksgiving. Thawing your turkey days ahead is crucial to prevent an explosion happening. A good recommendation is a day of thawing for every 5 pounds. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
All right, quick check of our forecast. It's a cold one as we start our Wednesday morning. 25 degrees, feels like 17 so far. Temperatures across the region, 30 or below. So 30 Chanute, Iola, Yates Center, Fort Scott, 29 Nevada, 26 Lamar, 24 Neosho, and 24 down in Grove. Live look at the MoDOT camera, I-44 and Range Line looks good so far. And a green light for your morning drive will be mostly cloudy and cold. And a green light for your drive home as well, as will be mostly clear and cold. Kids getting on the bus are going to need the jacket, or the coat rather, when they get picked up and when they come home. 29, mostly cloudy by 7 a.m. And when the bus brings them home at 3, we could see winds gusting somewhat to 25 here and there. Otherwise, partly cloudy and 35 by 3 o'clock, and we don't warm up much from there. Only 36 for the afternoon high. Clouds will eventually clear out this afternoon, leaving us with mostly clear skies. We'll be mostly clear into the evening before clouds build back in by sunrise tomorrow, 23 for the overnight low. And as we look at the 7-day forecast, maybe a wintry mix possible south of I-44 tomorrow, otherwise 45. And then Friday, it's just so cold, cloudy, and with enough moisture, it could spit some flurries at us, 32. And then we start to warm up through the weekend. And check out Tuesday as we get close to 60 degrees. So temperatures start to get back to normal for this time of year as we head into next week. We're back with more right after this.
An investigative report that helped spark a cultural movement and won the Pulitzer Prize is the topic of a movie hitting theaters this weekend.
David Daniel has a look at She Said.
Why is sexual harassment so pervasive and so hard to address? Let's interrogate the whole system.
Zoe Kazan and Carey Mulligan star in She Said as Jodie Cantor and Megan Twohey, whose story on allegations against Harvey Weinstein helped propel the Me Too movement.
These young women walked into what they all had reason to believe were business meetings with a producer, an employer. Instead, they say he met them with threats and sexual demands. They claim assault and rape.
The actresses met with the journalists before filming.
They're quite impressive people, and so I think we both felt a little cowed at first when we met them. But they're so easy to talk to, obviously because of their jobs that I should have expected that.
People have tried to write this story before. He kills it every time.
Harvey adamantly denies any allegation of assault.
He played people. He was a master manipulator.
You know, without their testimony and without their coming forth, the survivors and the witnesses, we wouldn't be here.
If that can happen to Hollywood actresses, who else is it happening to?
For me, it was life and art coming together at moments, having worked for Harvey on 2 occasions, having known him, encountered him on many, been bullied by him. Thankfully, I was never sexually abused. And so I'm always the debt of gratitude to those remarkable women who came forward.
A pretty small number of brave sources can have enormous worldwide impact, and also that you really can confront a bully. You just have to do it together.
I was silenced. I want my voice back.
In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
So this is reminiscent of a few other movies about journalists breaking stories. You know, All the President's Men is a great example of that.
I forgot about that one. Yeah.
So, and there was another one involving the Catholic Church, and I can't remember the name now of that particular movie. But I saw that one. I'll have to think about the name of that. But there's times that journalists do good jobs. There's things that we do, and we do them well. And these are just a few of the examples of things that we do sometimes that benefit more people than you might think.
Mm-hmm. We have a role too.
We do. We got another look at your forecast when we come back. We've got a really chilly start to the day across the area, and it's not going to get very warm either. 27 in Joplin, feels like 19 degrees with a light south breeze. It is 30 or below across the area. 38 Center, Chanute, Iola, Fort Scott, 24 Parsons, 25 Chautauqua and Miami, 24 Neosho, and 22 down in Anderson. Live look at the MoDOT camera, I-44 and Range Line looking east. Looks good so far this morning. Green light for your morning drive, which is good news. It'll be mostly cloudy and cold. And a green light for your drive home as we mostly clear and remaining cold. Kids needing the coat getting on and off the bus today. It's only 29 at 7 a.m. with a light breeze. And then as we head home, we could see some gusts upwards of about 25. Otherwise, partly cloudy and 35 by 3 o'clock. That's not far off the pace for the highs. We're only reaching 36 degrees today. You can see we don't get very warm and we don't stay very warm for very long, but the clouds will start to clear out a little bit. We'll be left with mostly clear skies for the majority of the night and clouds increasing by tomorrow morning. We're going to kind of level off at 23 degrees overnight tonight. As we take a look at the 7-day forecast, it's going to be on the chilly side. We could see a wintry mix south of I-44 tomorrow, 45 degrees for the afternoon high on Thursday, 32 on Friday. So very cold Friday, cold enough that with some moisture and cloud cover, we may see a stray flurry or two. No accumulations really expected, no major ones expected here. As we head into the weekend, we do start to warm up, and you can take a look. Temperatures, even as heading into Thanksgiving, start to warm up. 55 for Thanksgiving, 60 beforehand, maybe some stray showers out there as well, which will certainly help with the drought situation. A lot more of the KOAM Morning News is right after this.
Right now at 6, standoff in Joplin. Law enforcement officers surround a house near Cecil Floyd Elementary in response to a domestic violence suspect returning to the home.
We've got another cold start for us across the 4 states. It's going to be pretty cold today, but warmer weather is on the way. We'll tell you when coming up.
And 'tis the season for cooking safety. Our own Yana Hatula is live at Pittsburgh's Fire Station #1 for a demonstration of a worst-case scenario when deep frying a turkey.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner, 6 a.m. It is Wednesday, halfway through the week. See how quickly it moves after we moan about Monday and we celebrate the other days? It goes by.
You're the only one that
like
moans
that.
about Monday.
Oh, don't even. Don't even. You
Just
know
on air.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Something that everybody's going to be moaning about is how cold it is right now because it is absolutely chilly outside. 7th and Range Line. It looks nice until you turn on the temperature reader here and it says 27 degrees with a feels like of 19. So absolutely cold. All across the 4 states, we're at, we've warmed up a pinch to the north, so we're at 31 and below. 31 in Fort Scott, Nevada is the warm spots. 24 Miami, 22 in Anderson, and 26 in Parsons this morning. Live look at the MoDOT camera at I-44 and Range Line. Looks good. A few more cars out there. Green light for your morning drive as we're mostly cloudy and cold. And a green light for your drive home as will be mostly clear and cold. Kids getting on the bus today are definitely going to need a coat getting on and off this bus. 29, mostly cloudy at 7 a.m. and only 35 and partly cloudy by the time they get home. And our high today, a whopping 36 degrees. Woo! Oh, I tell you what, that's some good weather right there. That's true. At least it is above freezing. It won't stay that way for very long, but it will be above freezing for a bit. We'll drop back tonight and we'll level off for a little bit to 23 degrees. Mostly clear skies. Clouds increasing tomorrow. We do have a little bit of wintry precipitation possible in our forecast. And then, as I promised, there is a warm up on the way. We're going to talk about all of that here in just a couple of minutes.
All right, a lot to talk about.
Indeed, some good news to talk about.
All right.
Well, good weather news, I should say.
There you go. All right, thanks, Chris. Well, a car overturns and ejects the driver just outside of Racine. On Monday afternoon, a 2002 Ford Ranger driven by George Todd of Racine traveled off the left side of the road and struck a bridge. The impact ejected the driver from the vehicle. The crash happened 2 miles south of Racine on Highway CC. Todd was taken to Freeman Hospital in Joplin with serious injuries. Police say the driver of a commercial tow truck died on Tuesday when the truck rolled over along I-44 near Joplin's Range Line exit. No other vehicles were involved and no one else was hurt. Police plan to release more details today. You can follow the story on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Law enforcement in Bates County, Missouri, Tuesday morning seized narcotics, cash, and guns during a drug bust. The Bates County Sheriff Emergency Response Team served a search warrant in Butler, Missouri. Authorities say the extensive drug investigation targeted a convicted felon. Officers took 4 people into custody and also seized methamphetamine, heroin, mushrooms, and field-tested fentanyl. Now, SWAT team surrounds a home in West Joplin. Law officers respond to and remain at a home on the 1800 block of Joplin's West 21st Street all Tuesday afternoon. It's in the neighborhood of Cecil Floyd Elementary. Authorities tell us a man charged with first-degree domestic assault charges had returned to the home. They entered the home and searched inside to determine whether the suspect was inside. The victim and the children were not at the residence at the time. Well, flu season begins the 1st of October and ends in March. And as of Tuesday, Newton County has 28 confirmed cases of the flu. Now, according to the CDC, the state of Missouri is considered to be a moderate level for flu activity.
There's not a really good way to predict. Sometimes we'll use past history, but with COVID, that kind of blows everything. So my expectation would be that we will see an increase in the flu. How much of an increase is yet to be determined.
Kansas and Oklahoma are both considered moderate levels for flu activity, and Arkansas is considered high for flu activity. Coming up a little later in the show, KOAM's Jalen Banks sits down with the Newton County Health Department to hear more and get a closer look at those rising numbers. Well, Thanksgiving is almost here, and people will soon start preparing to cook their turkeys. KOAM's Yana Tula joins us live from Pittsburgh's Fire Station number 1 to talk about safety while cooking. Good morning, Yana.
Good morning, Tanya, and thank you very much. We're live here in Pittsburgh at the Fire Station 1, so it's very important to keep safety in your mind when you are deep frying your turkeys. The house fire in Massachusetts was caused by someone deep frying their turkey in 2020. A simple mistake of cooking a frozen turkey can be a dangerous start for Thanksgiving. Thawing your turkey days ahead is crucial to prevent an explosion happening.
If you're using a turkey fryer, make sure you use that fryer outside of the home. That means not in your garage, not on the porch. Also, make sure you start with a thoroughly thawed turkey and never overfill or overheat the oil in that turkey fryer.
Fleming says an average of 1,700 cooking fires happen on Thanksgiving, which is 3 times more than any other day during the year. And later, just a few minutes after this, we're going to be live with Chief Anthony to prepare a turkey the right way before you are frying it. So please keep watching us. I'm live in Pittsburgh. Yana Haudala, KOAM News.
And I can tell, you can hear it in the background, you've already got that fryer plugged in and you're heating the oil. So, and I know that's a big part of it too, is the temperature of the oil, and we're going to find out more about that from Chef Anthony here in a little bit on details on how long you need to thaw the turkey and what those temperatures should be at too. All right, thank you so much, and we're looking forward to
keep watching.
Checking back in with you in a little bit. We've got a lot to learn this morning. All right, thanks, Sana.
Right, quick check of the sunrise and sunset this morning, 6:58 for the sunrise, sunset at 5:07, 7-day forecast. All right, so 45 tomorrow, maybe a wintry mix south of I-44. No major accumulations expected. Check out Friday, though, 32 degrees, mostly cloudy. It may spit a flurry or two at us. Then once we get into the weekend, we see a warming trend kick in. We're back to near normal by next week, and highs approaching 60 degrees by Tuesday. And by Turkey Day itself, we're about 55, some rain showers possible. But overall, we start to look a lot better next week.
All right. Well, that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, we head back out to Fire Station number 1 in Pittsburgh as Chef Anthony Fisher joins our own Yana Dola for a demonstration on how to safely deep fry a turkey. And there he is, getting it ready now.
Plus, after 2 scrub launches and a delay caused by Hurricane Ian, NASA's most powerful rocket finally lifts off. We're going to have the latest.
And our own Jalen Banks takes us to Newton County, where flu cases are on the rise. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back. Well, Thanksgiving is just over a week away, and people are going to start preparing their turkeys to be cooked. Well, they need to do it now, that's for sure. KOAM's Yana Abdullah joins us live with Chef Anthony Fisher to how to properly prepare and fry turkey. All right, do we have Yana ready?
We are ready. Sorry,
all right,
we just
there she
had some
is.
difficulties there. Can you hear me now? Probably, yes. I assume
I
yes.
can hear you great,
So we're
Yana.
live here in Pittsburgh. Good. Thank you. We're live here in Pittsburgh at the Fire Station 1 with Chef Anthony from Pittsburgh High School. Thank you.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Are you cold?
I'm feeling good now.
I feel like I have a lot more on than you, but
I'm used to living in the cold, so.
yes. So we are here preparing a turkey the right way. So what all do you need to do to prepare the turkey before you deep fry it in the oil?
Okay, before we do our turkey in the oil, we want to do one of two things. One, we want to make sure that it's completely thawed. If you need to, run it under cold water. Make sure you have no ice in it whatsoever, that you massage all the muscles of the turkey. You don't feel any rocks inside there. That would be the ice crystals in the meat still being frozen. So, and then we want to go through. In previous segments, when we've roasted things, you've seen me put butter up underneath the skin. We don't need to do that. We don't even need to season the outside of the turkey. We need to season the inside of the turkey. Seasoning on the outside, a lot of the seasoning blends that people use have sugar in them. And the sugar will burn in the extreme heat of the fryer. So we want to make sure we keep that under control. So what I do is I just use an injectable marinade, and I've injected all the muscles, all the major muscle groups of the turkey to make sure that I have plenty of flavoring inside of my turkey, so it turns out nice and moist.
What are you actually putting inside there? What is that?
This is just Tony Chachere's. It's just a quick, convenient marinade, and I use the jalapeno the jalapeno butter. It's wonderful in flavors, so it encompasses everything really nicely. And then we're going to take our turkey and we're going to put it into our basket. And I always use the basket when I fry, just because I want to make sure. And I'm going to put my bird in so that my breast is up, because that's going to be the part that I want to make sure cooks very evenly. And I place it all the way into the bottom so that it doesn't jostle around while it's cooking. And then I'm going to bring it right over here.
Okay.
And my oil's up to temperature. I'm slowly.
What temperature does it need to be?
About 350 degrees.
Okay.
And set it right inside.
Looks
and
good.
let it start
No
cooking.
explosion or anything.
No explosion
Yes.
yet. That's much later.
So how about the thawing? I think I'm saying it hopefully correct. How do you prepare the turkey? How many days do you have to have it in the room temperature, or what do you do with it?
It needs to thaw in the refrigerator, not at room temperature, because then you're starting to allow bacteria to grow inside of your turkeys. So do it at home in the refrigerator. For the average 16 to 20 pound turkey, I would say you need at least 6 days inside of there. And then you need to start the night before you're going to cook it and make sure that it's completely thawed before you start your cooking process.
And how are you completely sure that it is good to be cooked? Is there any way that you can make sure that it's completely...
Massaging the muscles, you'll feel ice crystals in the frozen muscle portions. You'll feel them. They'll be really hard, unlike bone. So you'll know the difference when you touch it, and you don't have to worry too much about that.
So if people are cooking this next Thursday,
yes.
It's Thanksgiving, when should they start to do all this thawing and all the preparation?
They should start their thawing today in the refrigerator. Because you're thawing it in the refrigerator, it's going to take longer to do, but you're also doing it in a controlled environment so that you don't have to worry about bacteria and such growing inside of your turkey. Salmonella is really big in poultry, so we just have to make sure we cover all of our bases and we thaw it correctly. So don't thaw it in the sink. Don't use hot water, because that starts the cooking process. If you need to, a little bit of cold water at the end, and just let the water run into it.
How about when it is in here? How long is it going to stay here for now?
This one should take roughly an hour to an hour and 10 minutes.
So pretty quick.
It does do pretty quick. That's the nice thing about frying, because it's going to seal and cook the outside of it, and then it's going to start finishing working on the inside of it. So we'll get that nice crispy crust on the outside and nice juice, moist and tender on the inside.
That sounds good. How many people will this one turkey serve? About
6 to 8 ounces per person. I believe this is a 14-ounce bird, so this should do somewhere around 20 people if you control your portions on it.
Yeah.
So.
How about one more thing? How about the cooking oil? Do you know where can you take it when you are done with cooking?
When I'm done with it, I freeze it. So, and then we have a grease trap at work. Civilian-wise, or outside of school, I don't know where the easiest way to get rid of it is, but contact your local fire department. They would be the ones to give you suggestions as to where to properly get rid of it.
Yes, and I heard some of the recycling places actually do take the oil. I heard from Olivia, our camera girl, she said that. But yes, thank you so much. And soon, in about half an hour, we will be going live and see how to not cook your turkey the wrong way, which is behind us. I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, we'll be live in about half an hour, so stay tuned. Thank you, Anthony.
Of course. We'll see you in a little bit.
Thank you. I'm Yana with KOAM News, live in Pittsburgh.
All right, and I'm excited. In a little over an hour, we're going to check back in with Chef Anthony and that properly cooked turkey, see how it turned out. Thank you so much, Yana. Thank you so much, Chef Anthony. We will be talking to both of you in just a little bit. We'll be right back. Topping Nation Watch this morning, NASA has finally launched its uncrewed Artemis 1 mission on a historic journey to the moon. The spacecraft took off from Kennedy Space Center in Florida at 1:47 a.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday. It's flying without astronauts for a test mission, headed for deep space, kicking off a 25-and-a-half-day journey around the moon. The rocket is now officially the most powerful to ever reach Earth's orbit. It comes after 2 scrubbed launch attempts in August. The mission marks the inaugural launch of the space agency's Artemis program in its plan to eventually return astronauts to the moon for the first time since the mid-20th century. It'll take several days for the spacecraft to reach its furthest point, about 40,000 miles beyond the moon. The capsule is slated to journey back to Earth and parachute to a splashdown landing in the Pacific Ocean on December 11th. Let's look at one of today's top national stories. Here's Chris with a look at your forecast.
Yeah, it's a pretty chilly start for us across the 4 states today. You can see in Joplin, it does look nice until you throw on the temperatures and realize it's not too nice. 27 degrees, partly cloudy, feels like 19. We're pretty chilly, of course, across the entire region. 29 Neodesha, 26 Parsons, 27 Lamar, and 28 in Carthage. Live look at the MoDOT camera looking east on I-44 from Rangeline. Looks good. Green light for your morning drive. This will be mostly cloudy and cold, and a green light for your afternoon drive. This will be mostly clear and still cold. Kids getting on the bus will need a jacket going to and from school. 29, mostly cloudy at 7 a.m. Partly cloudy, maybe some gusts up to 25. Otherwise, 35 and partly cloudy by 3 o'clock. High today of only 36 degrees. Clouds start to clear out. We're left with mostly clear skies for most of the night before clouds increase tomorrow morning. We drop back down to an overnight low of 23. More of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning, the number of influenza cases is climbing across the nation and here in the 4 states. The latest CDC estimates show flu cases have climbed from minimal or low just 2 weeks ago in Missouri, Kansas, and Oklahoma to moderate now. In Arkansas, it's listed as very high. KOAM's Jalen Banks takes a look at the spread in one southwest Missouri county.
Flu season opens the 1st of October and ends in March. And as of Tuesday, Newton County has 28 confirmed cases of the flu.
There's not a really good way to predict. Sometimes we'll use past history, but with COVID, that kind of blows everything. So my expectation would be that we will see an increase in the flu. How much of an increase is yet to be determined.
Bergner says flu shots for the county are up, and that helps keep down the number of infections.
Yeah, in Newton County, since September 1st, we've given 217 flu vaccinations, all ages with that, but 217, 28 flu cases since September. So we're doing well. People are coming in to get their flu vaccinations. If we've done 217, I'm sure hospitals, pharmacies, they've done several as well.
Bergner also shares ways to be safe from catching the flu and other illnesses during the season.
Of course, hand washing is the best way to prevent viruses, but also making sure our surfaces are clean and sanitized around the house. Cooking kitchen surfaces are cleaned, and everything that we do, just make sure that everything is cleaned well and properly.
According to the CDC, Missouri is considered a moderate level for flu activity. In Newton County, Jalen Banks, KOAM News.
You can track the spread of the flu at the CDC's website. And that's a look at one of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
Yeah, we've got a pretty cold one across the area. Temperatures are chilly. 31 Fort Scott, 30 in Nevada, 26 in Parsons, 27 Joplin, and 23 in Neosho this morning. So very cold out there. Live look at the MoDOT camera at I-44 and Range Line looking east toward the sunrise. And it's starting to come out up there. We got a green light for your morning drives. It'll be mostly cloudy and cold. And a green light for your drive home, which is a nice thing to have on there, as we mostly clear and cold today. Kids getting on the bus are going to need a coat both this morning and on the ride home. So we're going to be 29, mostly cloudy at 7 a.m. And by the time they get home, partly cloudy, 35. And that wind could be gusting upwards of 25 miles an hour on occasion. Not very warm today. High of only 36 degrees, 34 at noon, 31 at 5, 24 by 8 o'clock. And clouds will start to clear out throughout the afternoon. We'll be left with mostly clear skies as we head into the evening before the clouds return tomorrow morning. Overnight low of 23 degrees. The sun set to officially rise at 6:58 this morning, so about 32 minutes from now, and the sun will set at 5:07 p.m. Tomorrow, 45, so a bit warmer. Wintry mix possible south of I-44. No major accumulation expected. Friday, though, we get downright cold, 32, and with enough moisture and cloud cover in the area, it may spit some flurries at us. No real accumulation is expected, but you may see a flurry or two on Friday. Then we start to warm up as we head through the weekend. Not a lot, but it's a warm up. And then by next week, we get back into the 50s to 60 degrees. Rain chances on the increase as we head into Thanksgiving. But even though it's a slight rain chance here, it's 55 on Thanksgiving, 45 that following Friday. Overnight lows finally get out of the 20s, start warming up into the 30s and 40s and getting us closer to where we should be for this time of year as we head into next week. We'll be back with more right after this.
Right now at 6:30, a standoff in Joplin. Law enforcement officers surround a house near Cecil Floyd Elementary in response to a domestic violence suspect returning to the home.
And we've got a very cold start to the Wednesday here in the 4 states, and it's not going to get a lot warmer today. We'll break down your full forecast and when a warm-up will get here coming up.
And 'tis the season for cooking safety. Our own Yana Tula is live at Pittsburgh's fire station number 1 for a demonstration of a worst-case scenario when deep frying a turkey.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's now 6:30. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. So it is a very cold start to the day for us here in the 4 states, and it's going to remain that way throughout today. However, despite how cold it is, we have an absolutely beautiful sunrise this morning at 7th and Range Line. Take a look at that there. It looks quite lovely. And then we tell you what the temperature is, and you realize, nope, I'm going to just go ahead and stay inside today. 27 is where we're at right now. Feels like 19 degrees. They're partly cloudy skies. Temperatures across the area pretty chilly. The warm spot, though, right now looks to be Fort Scott at 31, 29 Neodesha, 26 Chetopa, 24 Miami, 23 Neosho, and 28 in Carthage. Live look at the MoDOT camera at I-44 and Range Line, and looking east, you can see traffic flowing smoothly. Looks good. For your morning drive, we do have a green light from the weather department, as will be mostly cloudy and cold. And for the drive home, another green light, though. Mostly clear skies and cold then as well. Kids needing the jacket getting on and off the bus today. 29 degrees at 7 a.m. and only 35 by the time they get home. And winds today could gust upwards of about 25 miles an hour, making it feel pretty chilly out there, because we're only going to warm up as high as 36. And we'll start to see the clouds clear out, see some mostly clear skies as we head into the afternoon and evening, but mostly clear overnight. As clouds return tomorrow morning, we drop back down to 23 degrees. But as cold as it is, we've actually got some wintry precipitation, not much, but a couple of chances of wintry precipitation to get through. A little more cold weather. Then we're going to start to get back to normal for a few days, and we'll talk about when that's going to happen here in a couple of minutes.
All right, a lot to talk about. All right. We've got a lot going on this half hour, too.
We do. There's a lot of things happening this morning. A lot of neat things happening this morning, too, in terms of cooking safety.
Yes, and
not
stay
cooking
tuned.
Safety, but cooking safety.
Yes, and we're going to show you some worst-case scenarios of what happens when you're not safe.
Yeah, and it's important to be safe.
All right. Moving along, a SWAT team surrounds a home in West Joplin yesterday. Law officers responded to and remained at a home on the 1800 block of Joplin's West 21st Street all Tuesday afternoon. That's in the neighborhood of Cecil Floyd Elementary School. Authorities tell us a man charged with first-degree domestic assault charges had returned to the home. They entered the home and searched inside and determined whether the suspect was inside. The victim and the children were not at the residence at the time. Well, Thanksgiving is almost here, and folks will start preparing their turkeys to be cooked. It's always good to keep safety tips in mind when deep frying your turkey. Now, this house fire in Massachusetts was caused by someone who did not quite follow those safety tips when deep frying their turkey in 2020. A simple mistake of cooking a frozen turkey can be a dangerous start for Thanksgiving. Thawing your turkey days ahead is crucial to prevent an explosion like that happening. It's also important to remember never douse a stove fire, flames with water, and to keep children away from the stove.
Because kids can reach up and get a handle, pull something hot down on themselves. So again, make sure you're supervising your kids around any kind of cooking that's going on during the holiday season.
Fleming says an average of 1,700 cooking fires happen on Thanksgiving, which is 3 times more than any other day of the year. Coming up in just a few minutes, Pittsburgh's new fire chief, Taylor Cerny, joins Yana Hadula to show us the wrong way to deep fry a turkey. You're going to enjoy this. All right, well, with grocery prices on the rise from a year ago, it'll cost more to lay out a family feast for Thanksgiving this year. According to the latest inflation data, turkey is forecast to cost 23% more in the fourth quarter because of both inflation and avian flu, which has reduced supply. A local food shelter representative also said the food line is getting longer.
We want to make sure that the programs and the things that we have offered for the community, we want to keep them going. For that holiday meal, for those that can't have a holiday or a Thanksgiving meal here, first thing on Thanksgiving Day, we want them to be able to have that nice, warm gathering on Thanksgiving Day.
Some stores, like Walmart and Aldi's, have rolled back prices on Thanksgiving staples specifically because of inflation.
That brings us to our question for you this morning. How are you planning to spend your Thanksgiving? Is it going to be with family, with friends and family?
There you go.
Alone, or do you just not celebrate it? So far, 56% of you say you're going to spend it with family, 11% saying you're going to spend with friends, 11% of you with friends and family, 22% of you are going to spend it alone. Every so often, when I was younger, I needed a holiday alone. You know, you go through that point where you just need to take a break from everybody and everything for just a minute. Nothing wrong with that at all, because it'll come again next year. Well, make sure you vote through our app, through our website, and of course take part in discussion on our Facebook page. While we take a quick look at sunrise and sunset for today, the sun is set to rise at 6:58 this morning, and it will set at 5:07 this evening. 7-day forecast. Maybe a wintry mix south of I-44 tomorrow, otherwise 45. No major accumulations anticipated. And then Friday, it's going to be cold enough at only 32 that with mostly cloudy skies and some moisture in those clouds, it may throw a flurry or two at us, but that said, no major accumulations, pretty much no accumulation at all with that. But you may see a stray flurry. Then as we get into the weekend, it starts to get a little bit nicer. We warm up into the 40s, near 50, and by the time we get into next week, we're into the 50s to 60 degrees, and even on Thanksgiving, we're at 55. We have some rain chances, but not bad otherwise as temperatures return to normal for this time of year as we head into next week.
One thing I did want to mention, if you are spending your Thanksgiving alone, in particular because you can't afford to make a Thanksgiving meal, or maybe you don't have anyone to spend it with and you'd like to spend it with somebody, we have started compiling a list of community Thanksgiving dinners on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com.
Yeah, and there's a lot of great resources. So
yeah,
and that goes into some of you maybe going through that thing like I did where you just need a holiday by yourself. Others, you're spending it alone because you don't have a choice. But there are choices. There are options available. You can find them on our website.
That's right. Well, that's
going to do it for this portion of the KOAM Morning News. We have got a lot more coming up when we come back.
We take this time to honor today's 4th state hero, First Sergeant Richard Perkins. The Iola, Kansas native served in Vietnam as part of the B Company, 2nd Battalion, 502nd Airborne Infantry, 101st Airborne Division. To First Sergeant Richard Perkins, we thank you, today's 4th state hero.
All right, time for some birthdays on this Wednesday, and we are starting in Pittsburgh with Louis and Benedict Falk celebrating their first birthday together. These twin boys, obviously, ready to get out there and explore life as they're already exploring nature in this photo.
Aw, cute alert, cute alert. All right, we got a 7 strong birthday for King Dixon. That is a strong name, I like it. King is in Pittsburgh, actually celebrated his birthday yesterday.
And we go to Carthage, where we find Hadley Horton celebrating birthday number 9. This comes with love from Grandma Judy and Grandpa Jim. Happy birthday, Hadley.
All right, and Macy Payne celebrating birthday number 12 this year. Hope it's a great one, Macy.
And we've got Bethany Merrick celebrating birthday number 16 over in Mound Valley. And today, of course, making this her golden birthday. Happy birthday, Bethany.
Gotta love that. Landon Harris turning 18 years old this year. Landon celebrating in Chanute.
And we've got Eva Parsons celebrating a birthday over in Neodesha. Eva, of course, pictured there with Landon.
All right. Happy birthday to both Landon and Eva. Awesome. All right, Jacob Toll celebrating birthday number 26 this year. That's a cool picture there. Jacob is in Baxter Springs with birthday love coming from Mom.
Also celebrating birthday number 26 today is Sammy Matson over in Pittsburgh. Sammy, a very happy birthday, and this comes with love from Auntie M and Grandma Patty.
I like that ride. Vicki Johnson celebrating in Cherokee, Kansas. All right, happy birthday to Vicki.
And we go on with Maxine Rion celebrating in Columbus. Melinda Lee Gordon celebrating birthday number 58 in Galena. Melinda is currently fighting stage 4 cancer, a mother of 10 children, 5 boys and 5 girls. This is birthday love coming from the entire family.
All right, we wish you the best, Melinda, and hope you have a wonderful birthday. And not only is it her birthday, but David and Melinda are celebrating their 22nd anniversary today as well. Wow.
Absolutely impressive. We've also got Reverend Michael Johnson celebrating number 59. This is just one big family event here because Melinda, Reverend Michael Johnson is Melinda and David's son-in-law. So a happy birthday to the Reverend Michael Johnson. And last but not least, Nikki Riebel in Chanute, celebrating a birthday as well with love from family and friends. And we want to keep the birthday list growing. Tanya Bach can tell you how to help us out with that.
That's right. You can send your birthdays to us through email. It's really easy to do. Just send them to birthdays@koamtv.com, or you can send them to birthdays@koamnewsnow.com.
And why don't you check out our website, because not only does it have the latest news, weather, and sports and everything in between, but it's also your place to go to sign up for the KOAM Birthday Club. All you have to do is go to our website, go to the morning show, find the KOAM Birthday Club icon, click on it, you sign up, you get great deals from local businesses, and a birthday message from your friends here at KOAM. All you need to do is go to KOAMnewsnow.com to the morning show page and click on the Birthday Club today. All right, so it is cold today. That's how it's going to be. It's cold this morning. It's going to be cold this afternoon. It's going to be cold tonight. And that's it. That's it. That's your forecast. Good night. But seriously, it is going to be cold, but there's warmer weather on the way, and that's good news. 27 in Joplin. Wind to south at 7, making it feel like 19. Cold across the area. Few warm spots, say Nevada and Fort Scott, both at 31 degrees. Everybody else, a little bit on the chilly side. 30 Chanute, 26 Parsons and Chetopa, 24 Miami, 23 in Neosho. Live look at the MoDOT camera at I-44 and Rangeline looking east. Looks good. Green light for your morning drive. Mostly cloudy. Temperatures in the 20s to near 30. And a green light for the drive home. Will be mostly clear and remaining cold for that afternoon drive. Kids get on the bus, they're going to need that jacket, 29 degrees, not just jacket, they're going to need a coat. Mostly cloudy, and then we could see some winds gusting to about 25 miles an hour this afternoon by 3 o'clock, 35, partly cloudy. Our high today, only 36 degrees, so cold indeed. Clouds clearing this afternoon. We'll be left with mostly clear skies as we head into the overnight hours. before clouds begin to increase towards sunrise tomorrow, dropping back down to 23 degrees. As we take a look at our 7-day forecast, so 45 tomorrow, maybe a wintry mix possible south of I-44. Pretty low end chance. We're not looking at a lot of accumulation, if any. And then Friday, 32 degrees, cold enough that with mostly cloudy skies, we could see a stray flurry or two out there. And then once we get into the weekend, we start to warm up, and look at next week. We start to get back into the 50s to near 60 degrees. Thanksgiving Day, 55, maybe some rain showers, but we'll take the rain showers in 55, I think, for sure. Overnight lows get out of the 20s into the 30s and 40s by next week. We're back with more right after this.
Thanksgiving is nearly here, and people need to start preparing their turkeys, to be cooked, and I'm talking about thawing them early. KOAM's Yana Tola joins us live to learn about safety while cooking, and she's got Pittsburgh Fire Department #1 with us with a demonstration about what happens if you don't prepare your turkey before you fry it.
Thank you, Tanya, and good morning, everyone. We're live here in Pittsburgh at the Fire Station 1, and I'm actually here with the new Fire Chief, Taylor Cerny. Congrats.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, so here, could you explain a little bit, what do we have here? We have the oil. Is it all heated up?
The oil is heated up. It is over full, and we have made sure and made it so that we heated it up quickly, you know, like somebody who maybe didn't plan for allowing enough time to heat the oil. So it's going to be too hot, the oil's too full, and our turkey is not quite going to be ready when we start.
Yes. How is the turkey prepared for this?
On this one, this is, again, a person who didn't plan. The turkey is still pretty frozen. We're going to plan on just trying to thaw it out in the oil, and that's obviously it's not going to work out very well.
Do accidents like this happen? Have you ever experienced this yourself or heard about this happening?
Thanksgiving is not a good time, and we have done this. We have had calls where we had to put out fires in garages, under carports, or the awnings on the front porch where somebody thought they were getting out of the wind or out of the weather. It doesn't work out well.
Yeah, and this environment, we are in an open space, but we are standing on grass. Is this good area to do this?
This is an okay area. The grass is trimmed and short. It's not necessarily going to be a big fire that will spread real far. Again, we're away from anything overhead, no power lines, no tree limbs, obviously outside. No, this is how you want to be set up other than how we've prepared the oil in the pot.
Would you still prefer concrete more than grass if you can?
Absolutely. The biggest thing is the mess that we're going to have here, and that makes it hard on the concrete as far as what we have behind here. But doing it at your house and doing it correctly, your concrete is for sure your best bet.
Okay, cool. Well, are we ready to do this?
I think we are ready. I've heard the guys getting ready behind me, so I think we're going to get real close and get it going.
Oh, yes. So we'll move out because this will cause a big explosion. So, yes. Let's go. We're good. So here we see the firemen. They will just drop the turkey in.
They are going to drop it in. Of course, they've got a pole where they're off to the side. Here it goes.
Woo! Wow. That was very fast. I could feel the warmth here. Did you feel that?
Oh, yeah. And what John's going to do is he's going to put that lid on there, and that's going to kind of help smother it out. Hopefully they have shut the gas off, and we will remove the pot.
Cool. This is, yeah, it was very warm. I could feel it. We were like still standing quite far away, but that was very warm. So I can totally see why this is dangerous and why people should always keep the safety in their mind. Wow. Are we able to go a little bit closer?
We can
or is it still?
We're going to leave the pot closed.
Yeah.
We are not going to open it up.
Yeah.
That would just reintroduce oxygen and relight the fire that's as hot as that oil is right now.
So so the turkey is still inside there?
The turkey is still inside, and what we did, rather than add water to hot oil, which would cause a secondary explosion, is we've just taken a lid, put it over the top to limit the airflow inside of it, and basically smothered the fire out.
Okay, yeah. So always just if this if this were to happen, you would just put the lid on top.
You want to let the fire die down a little bit and then get something on top of it, whether it's a lid, whether it's a baking sheet, something metal that is going to suffocate it.
And how does the turkey look like inside now? What do you think?
I really don't know. It's probably burnt on the outside and raw in the middle.
So not the proper way. This will not be cooked at all.
This will not make a good Thanksgiving meal.
And does it usually take about an hour when you cook it properly?
Yeah, it depends on the size of the bird, and I'm going to let Chef Anthony address that. But it is a certain amount of time per pound.
Yeah. Is there any way that you prepare for Thanksgiving? Are you more prepared that if calls like this are going to happen and you're going to be called to do this?
This is just one of the things that we know is a possibility on Thanksgiving. We think about it beforehand, like any other holiday. 4th of July we think about fireworks. Thanksgiving we think about turkeys. Christmas time we're going to start thinking about Christmas tree fires. So it's just something that we discuss and talk about beforehand.
Oh yes, yeah. Is there anything else you would want to tell the viewers at home how to be safe on Thanksgiving? Any kind of cooking tips?
Keep an eye on your food. Don't get it started and then go back to the store and leave it unattended. For sure, plan for Thanksgiving. You're going to want to allow plenty of time to thaw the bird out completely. You're going to want to allow plenty of time for cooking. Deep frying a turkey is not a last-minute ordeal.
Yeah, that's what Chef Anthony said earlier. It takes about 6 days, he said, to thaw it. And then, so if you're planning to do this on Thanksgiving, you should be now starting to prepare. I think so.
Absolutely, yes.
Yes, okay. Well, thank you so much. And the whole fire department, thank you for doing this with us to be able to demonstrate what happens when you do not prepare your turkey correct way for Thanksgiving. Thank you again.
Thank you.
And I'm Yana Hautala with KOAM News, live in Pittsburgh.
All right, thank you so much, Yana. And that was a really awesome demonstration. I was going to ask you to save me a little bit of the turkey, but I don't want that one brought back here to the station.
Yeah, you don't want this one. You don't want this.
What's the smell like right there?
It smells like oil.
It smells like burnt oil is what it smells like.
Burnt oil.
Yes, it's not the best smell.
That was wonderful advice about not putting water on an oil fire either. That's great to remember. Yes, definitely. All right, thank you so much, Anna. We will check back in with you in our next half hour, and we're going to find out how that good turkey that was properly thawed turned out as well. We'll be right back.
Cold day for us today, high of only 36 degrees. Clouds will eventually clear out this afternoon, give us mostly clear skies as we head into tonight. And we will be downright chilly tonight as well as we drop back down to 23 for the overnight low. Take a look at the 7-day forecast. Could see a wintry mix south of I-44 tomorrow, 45, 32 on Friday. Could see some flurries, a stray flurry or two on Friday, only 32. But once we get through that, starts to warm up quite nicely. Temperatures get back into the 50s to 60 degrees next week. 55 on Thanksgiving, maybe some rain showers, but at least we're back to normal for our temperatures as we head into next week.
All right. Sounds good. Well, coming up today at noon, we're making lemon garlic green beans in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
And your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings. As small island states threatened by rising sea levels call for a carbon tax on the profits of oil companies, Lee Cowan takes a dive in a marine wonderland that's in peril. That's coming up on CBS Mornings.
Interesting. Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. And this morning, Jesse Gilmore from the K-State Extension Service is in studio for another Wildcat Wednesday, talking about champion trees.
That sounds interesting.
It does.
A champion tree. We are.
And we're not done cooking turkeys.
No, we are not. We're going to head back out to Pittsburgh Fire Station 1. KOM's Yana Hautala for some do's and don'ts when frying a turkey. We saw one of the don'ts. For example, don't put a frozen turkey into your fryer.
If you missed it, we'll have a recap. And it's pretty awesome. Plus, we're going to pull out the turkey and see how the one that was properly prepared turned out.
Yeah, Chef Anthony's been making one the right way. We'll see how that one looks. That's going to wrap it up for us for now. We're going to see you back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.
And we're going to do it again today at noon.